Julian Jetta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Green Party supports the bill, which is pretty non-controversial and is in line with long-standing Green Party policy, which is to restrict the sale of property and land to residents and citizens. And I'd just like to start by saying, very generally, that this would only be one part of solving the housing affordability problem. There are a number of issues on both the demand side and the supply side which affect house prices. But that said, there's no question that this would do no harm. And I think it's really important to address some of the objections to this bill that have been raised by the government, the National Party, and the ACT Party, because rather than engaging in the substantive issue, which is, does foreign capital impact the value of property prices in New Zealand, they say to raise this question is xenophobic and racist. And of course, that doesn't logically follow. That is not a logical argument. In fact, it defies all economic logic, because any economist will tell you that foreign capital flows do have an impact on property prices. In fact, I've pulled up a paper here that was published at the London School of Economics, one of their conferences. This paper is written by a professor of economics from the University of Auckland, co-authored by a professor from the University of California, San Diego. And it's all about global capital markets and housing prices. And I'll just read the first few lines of the introduction for the benefit of the House. The experience of the past decade has demonstrated the challenges that international capital flows can pose for financial stability. Indeed, the buildup of global imbalances was one of the preconditions for the recent financial crisis. Deficit countries, such as the United States, Spain, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Iceland, Poland, Greece, Estonia, New Zealand, and Australia, attracted lots of foreign capital and exhibited large run-ups in house prices, while surplus countries, such as Germany, Switzerland, China, and Austria, exported capital. And they, in fact, experienced flat or slow house price growth. So it is just a distraction on the part of the government not to address the fundamental economic issue with foreign capital inflows, which do not, in fact, benefit New Zealand's productive economy. If we have a fairly limited supply of dwellings, the inflows of foreign capital lead to large run-ups in prices. And this is a consequence of global financialization and deregulation and inequality. I mean, really, it's the growth in global inequality that's leading to these, the ability of people who've captured a large portion of the surplus in some of these surplus countries to bid up house prices all around the world. And if we look at the cities that have the most unaffordable housing in the world, it's no accident that most of them are Pacific Rim cities. So it's Hong Kong, Sydney, Melbourne, Auckland, Vancouver. They're all Pacific Rim countries, and it wouldn't be surprising, given the huge amount of capital outflows coming from China, that that was having an impact on New Zealand's property market. Of course, it's not just China, and there's nothing racist about saying that that is happening, because that's a fact. But there's also money coming into New Zealand from Australia, from the United States, from other countries where you have vast amounts of income inequality and wealth inequality, and that, of course, bids up house prices. It's no surprise that the second most unaffordable city in New Zealand is Queenstown. Why do you think that is? Is there a lot of foreign ownership of property in Queenstown? Yes, there is. And so I just have to say, just point out that the government is trying to distract New Zealanders from the real issues. Why won't they debate the merits of their policy? If they really think there's no problem about it, why do they distract with accusations that people are racist? I'm an immigrant, and the Green Party supports immigration. We also support providing more houses. The state should be building more state houses. The government should be more involved in the provision of housing in New Zealand. And there's a lot they could do on the demand side, because there's no question that investors are having a disproportionate impact on house prices in New Zealand. And that fundamentally is not good for our economy, and it's not good for our people. And the National Party is being incredibly misleading by not addressing the actual economics of the issue and distracting in order to try and get votes.
Brett Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.